I learned so much through all of those years and all those experiences. But the coolest thing that came, I think, from my time at Record Plant was when I met Tiffany Miranda, who is the founder of the nonprofit Girls Make Beats. So I love telling this story because, again, it's literally the point where my purpose and my passions collided.
You know what's funny? I around the time that I hit you up, however, a couple months ago or something,
Mhm.
I was thinking around that time about, well, two things. One, I was realizing that there were so many people that I was meeting, through social media, as well as people that I kind of know that I just definitely wanted to get on the show. And
Right.
I was thinking, as a producer, as someone who lives, breathes, sleeps, eats music. I don't literally eat music, but I really care about music deeply. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm thinking about how I don't see a lot of women producers, at least on social media, as nearly as much as I do the opposite sex.
Right.
And around that time is when I came across your profile, and then of course I see, right in your bio there. And that's what I want to kind of start off with. Actually, we'll go into that. I want to know a little bit about yourself first, but I definitely am excited to hear about Girls Make Beats and like know about how that thing started and kind of what your involvement is, in the
Okay.
organization. But if you
Sweet.
could,
And you're editing this, right? We don't
absolutely.
gotta.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah,
I was
not
like,
live. Yeah, for sure.
okay, cool. Like I said, it's a different kind of Whitney will come out if we got to make sure we're on point. So
Sure,
I'll
sure.
try to make it as easy and not as all over the place as I can. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, well, my name is Whitney Taber. I am the former vice president of Record Plant Recording Studios. Worked there for about 10 years. Um, I actually got my start in music working for Rihanna's creative director about 11 years ago. So I
Mhm.
was an executive assistant, and that was my first job in music. I had no idea what a creative director did. I
Mhm.
had never visited Los Angeles in my life. I'm originally from Washington State, a small reservation on as far northwest as you can get in the continental United States.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up. Went to college for a little while, dropped out, didn't know what I wanted to do, got married for like about 10 months, was like, oh, okay, because that's what the world tells girls, we're supposed to do is we're supposed to find somebody who wants to marry us and then your life is set. And it wasn't it. So
Mhm.
went back to Seattle and really was just dealing with a lot, just what do you do as a 23-year-old when the plan that you made and set, first plan was college, that didn't work out. Second plan was marriage, that didn't work out. So it was just kind of like I did everything everybody else wanted me to do. So maybe I should just go and live a little bit and see what I actually truly want to do.
Mhm.
One thing, I always say is how are people supposed to know what they want to do for the rest of their life if they haven't lived any life?
Mm. Yeah.
So making 18-year-olds or even 20, 25-year-olds even make that decision, I think is really truly a hard thing to put on a kid.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm lucky that I had parents that recognized that and gave me the green light to explore and let me know that they were proud of me regardless of whatever I did, as long as it was legal. I wasn't hurting nobody. That's
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I picked two cities and I said, I always loved music. I've always loved music, singing and doing my thing, but never even thought that I could actually do music as a career. I never had I want to be, the next Whitney Houston or Beyonce. I didn't have that. I just know I loved music.
Mhm.
Um, so dealing with, really almost like depression and mental health, which wasn't something that I even knew about when I was that young. I picked two cities. I said, I think that God does not want me to be a 23-year-old housewife.
Mhm.
So I guess it's time to live a little. So I picked two cities that at 24 years old, I thought looked fun, which again, I never had visited either, coming from such a small place. And those two cities were Los Angeles or Miami. And I
Mhm.
just went and I told my mom, I said, I know you guys are excited that I'm back home, but I'm really just not happy and I need to go. I didn't even know what I said to my mom. I just said, I'm going to be moving. I said either Los Angeles or Miami, wherever I get a job first. And my mom said, well, I hope it's LA because you'll still be closer to me. And I mentioned to a friend, again, this is another moment I live by, or memo, or what I'm saying, one of those sayings that will ever forever just roll with me, and it's closed mouths don't get fed. My best friend Chanel, I actually mentioned to her, like, I want to move, you know, to Los Angeles. And she said, well, I know somebody who knows somebody, and let me see if they're hiring, or, you know. And I was like, don't, you know, I don't need no help, and blah, blah, blah. I can do it myself, independent woman. And she said, girl, shut up. She said, girl, whatever. I know you, you're my best. So she mentioned to her friend who was living and working in the music industry. She just said, hey, do you know of anybody who's, you know, hiring? Because my friend wants to move. At that time, I think, what jobs did I had? I was college dropout, community college dropout. I was a preschool teacher for 3 years during college, a housewife, and a bartender. So those were my skill sets, you know, at 24 years old. And yeah, she said, cool, you know, is anybody you know hiring? She happened to be working for a vocal producer, Coot Harrell, who literally is everybody's vocal producer. It's wild. And they were working on Rihanna's album, and Rihanna's team, like, and this is like I said, there's no really like method to the madness. And I like to really tell my story and explain to people, nobody's going to be able to give you that magic, like A plus B equals C, and C is success. That's not going to happen. You just kind of have to roll the dice over and over and over, and pray you hit that 7, pray you hit that 11, you know, next time you roll. So, you know, Rihanna's team liked this girl, and they asked her, hey, we're looking for another assistant. Do you know of anybody? And she said, I have 2. Yeah, I know 2 people. There's a girl that graduated from all these schools. You know, she's, you know, college, multiple, you know, degrees, all that. And we have a super dope, fun one. Her team said, we want the super dope, fun one, which luckily was me. So another thing is be yourself always. Like, always just be real and be who you are, because it's easy as hell to be yourself. Like, you ain't got to remember, you ain't got to pretend. So forever being yourself is something that I attest, like, a lot of my success to, is I keep it very real. Even if it doesn't work out, hey, it is what it is. So I got thrown in the mix. So I threw my resume in the mix. And yeah, I interviewed over Skype, like I said, 2010, I believe, and got the position. They offered me the position over 5 different people that could start right then. And I said, well, I have a little predicament, because everything that I own is now in South Carolina, where my husband and all of our, you know, things were at the time. So I said, let's figure this out. You're a grown up. You got to do what you got to do, and you got to you just got to get it done. So took the rest of my money that I had, took one of my homegirls, bought us a one-way flight, packed my Jetta with whatever I could fit. Like, when I tell you I left photographs, I left my entire CD. I had the CD discs, you know, the 200 disc pack, Joe. I had that, left all that. And whatever was important to me at 24 and could fit in the back seat in the trunk of a Jetta is what I took with me. And I drove across the country in 3 days with the best friend, and started working for Rihanna's team that very next day. And I moved in with a woman I had never met. This is my first time ever even being in Los Angeles, taking a job I never heard of, and just figuring it out. So that's how I got my start in music. Record Plant came into the mix while working with the team. I did that job for about a year. It was very hard. Also, again, I'm by myself in a new city, going through a divorce, 24 years old, and the hardest job I've ever, like I said, I had to go from PC to Mac very fast. I had to learn so much on the fly. And still to this day, that is the hardest job I think that I've ever had. And I would not change anything. I would not change a single thing, you know, about that. Even the crying I used to cry every Sunday because I had to go to work on Monday. Like, when I tell you, it was the hardest, you know, mentally, just to get through. So those are the days that I still remember, like, okay, you know what, you worked and you earned these times, so enjoy them. But during that time frame, I stumbled upon a studio, Record Plant Recording Studios, and was like, oh man, this seems like a cool place. And when I left the Rihanna position, I kind of thought I had it going on. I was like, here's another L that, you know, we're going to take those L's, but another little Whitney saying is this: take two L's, you put them together, it equals a W. So don't collect those L's, y'all. Collect them all day, pull them together. What you grab, oh, I learned a little bit from here, learned a little, boom. And that's what it was. I took those L's and I said, cool, like I'm not happy. I'm a firm believer in following your happiness, because money is going to come and money is going to go. But one thing that you can never get back is your time and your happiness. So for myself, I was like, cool, I'm not happy in this position, even though I'm working for the biggest superstar in the world, even though I'm, you know, if I would have stuck with that, I'm sure I would have been like, wait, you know, creative directing and doing all of the, I don't know, you never know. But I just had to follow what made me happy at the time. And it wasn't that job. So I saved 6 months thinking, cool, I just work for the biggest superstar in the world. Like, oh, it's nothing. I'm gonna walk into a label, get a job tomorrow. I'm gonna walk in here and I could not find a job for at least a year.
Wow.
In the music industry. Luckily, I had saved enough 6 months worth of rent, and started doing anything that I could to make money that was legal. When I tell you that, I never have done anything strange for any change. I never will do anything strange for any change. But I mean, I started catering. I was nannying for friends. I was going to random casting calls where I just sat in the audience and they paid me $100 for the day. Like, I did whatever I could to survive here. And that's kind of pretty much where things went all over. So I started hosting for All Def Digital, started doing, I fell into radio, actually. Fell into radio with Dash Radio, which is an internet-based startup. With DJ Ski, and I didn't know that I was a radio personality, or I could be. I just kind of was, you know, again, it fell into it, and actually felt like loved it. During that time frame, though, I always still worked at Record Plant part-time. And another one of those closed mouths don't get fed moments. They kept overlooking me for these higher positions. And I'm like, I've been here longer than everybody. Like, what is going on? And because I was grinding and working so many other jobs, the higher ups didn't realize that, you know, me becoming an executive or really helping them fully run the studio was something that I wanted, until I finally said, is there a reason that y'all don't want me to come up here and be upstairs with y'all? Because like, this is crazy. And you know, that's when in 2016, the new owners were like, this is the girl who needs to run this place. I don't know why y'all got anybody else doing it. And that's when I stopped doing all of my other creative, you know, just side hustles, and fully dedicated all of my everything to Record Plant. And it's amazing. Like I said, I've worked with and talked with most of these women on these walls. I've seen amazing albums. For the people that don't know, Record Plant is one of the top 25 recording studios in the world. I'm the only woman in the building, pretty much. Like, literally, we had maybe one or two runners or interns that were female, but that was it. I was me, you know. Same with being the only minority in management. I was that was me. That was it. So yeah, I started really doing some cool things, bringing in partnerships, and worked my way up. Like I said, from literally just being head of client service was my title, and my job was to answer phones, order food for clients, you know, put out snacks, like just make sure that the studio had a dope vibe. And did that for years until I became the assistant studio manager, then the studio manager, then the vice president of business development. And yeah, I learned so much through all of those years and all those experiences. But the coolest thing that came, I think, from my time at Record Plant was when I met Tiffany Miranda, who is the founder of the nonprofit Girls Make Beats. So I love telling this story because, again, it's literally the point where my purpose and my passions collided, and I realized, oh wow, this is bigger than me. This life that I am living, it's more. You know, I've always helped give back to the community as much as I can. So I'm really passionate about homelessness here in Los Angeles and all over the world. I think everybody deserves to eat a nice meal, you know, things like that. So for the past 9 years, I've been, you know, as many days as I can, I donate and donate my time to a nonprofit called My Friend's House LA, where we literally go to Skid Row and feed and clothe the homeless. Honestly, after this call, it's on Wednesday. So Wednesday from 12 to 2, I'm on Skid Row, you know, giving back as much as I can. But being able to combine giving to other people and my music, my passion for music, that's when, yeah, Girls Make Beats does that for me every day. So I'll tap into the story where me and Tiffany met. It was actually really, really cool. I'm upstairs and we get an email and it's got pink and purple and it's all cutesy. And I'm like, what is this? And the president at the time, he was like, oh yeah, this email is for you. It ain't for me. So he sends it on over to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I respond, you know, and they said, hey, we're doing a tour. At that time, Girls Make Beats was only in Miami. So for those of you guys that don't know, Girls Make Beats is a nonprofit organization where we aim to amplify women being in audio engineering, audio production, and DJing, which are less than 3% represented by women, and then literally like 2% by women of color. So we're just making sure that these little girls have, you know, a seat at the table. They can feel confident. They have the education, and they can create. Like, I feel like that's just like a basic human right, that you should be able to create art, because it's free, y'all. You can do this for free, you know, and you, if you're lucky, you get paid to do it. So and you work really hard, you get paid to do it. But Girls Make Beats was actually only in Miami 4 years ago, and they were doing a tour with their first national tour with, you know, multiple cities. So I think they went to LA, was one of the cities basically. And when we go on tour, we take the girls to, you know, one thing I think that a lot of people don't really understand and how impactful representation is when it comes to mentoring or even motivating and inspiring kids. It's a really big deal, especially young women. If you really think about it, like, girls don't get to see women, especially women that look like us or look like me. They don't see us in powerful positions. They don't see it on the television. It's never represented. So they think they only got 2 or 3 jobs that they can do. Right. So, you know, it's really a powerful thing to just show them, you know, you don't got to be on stage. You can be the one who booked the stage. You can be the one who booked the studio. You can be the one who runs the studio. You can be the engineer. You can do all those things. But if you can't see it, you can't dream to be it. It's something that I like to always remind people when mentoring the youth. But yeah, I always joke with Tiffany, like, I'm like, girl, like, you have no idea, like, that day was really, really a special day for me and always will be. She asked, you know, is it okay if we bring the girls by for a tour? When we do tours, we bring the girls to iHeartRadio to show them, you know, jobs, you know, in radio. Right. We bring them to a major recording studio in the city that we visit. We also take them to, you know, here we take them to Paramount Pictures. You know, they could do sound scoring, they can do all kinds of, you know, things, but we just try to, like I said, open their eyes to as many different opportunities as they can, because there's always multiple roads to get to one destination. Right. I think a lot of people sometimes forget you got to get that first hit record. No, you could start as an intern and work your way up and figure it out. You know, you just never know. But just staying real and being humble and working hard is always going to get you wherever it is, especially if you're really, really passionate about it. But yeah, Tiffany came and she asked, you know, is it okay if we give a tour to 10 little girls? I'm like, of course. Are you kidding me? I would love to have some more females in the building, some energy, you know, all of that. So I gave these 10 little girls a tour of Record Plant. And again, I mean, this is where Kanye did Through the Wire. This is where Queen did their last album. This is where, you know, oh my gosh, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, Dr. Dre, J-Lo. Like, when I tell you the amount of hit records that have come out of this building, and even just throughout history in the other record plants, like Purple Rain was done, like just Bieber's, and just a ton of cool stuff has been there. I showed the girls that. So, you know, hey, this is where Beyonce and Jay-Z did this, and this is where, you know, gosh, I met Elton John, and this is where Prince beat everybody in basketball, and like just all of these, you know, awesome, cool stories that I feel like kids should, you know, that's going to inspire them.
Mhm.
And I'm like, cool, let's go listen, you know, let's go crank the mains, let's just turn up a little bit, and then I'm probably never going to see y'all again, and that'll probably be the end of my, you know, helping out, is what I thought. And Tiffany made a really good point. She says no, and this is when the aha or the light bulb popped for me.
Yeah.
And just realizing, wow, I need to do more. I need to do more. We all need to do more. We need to do our part. And it was, she said, no, we're not done with the tour. We got to show them your office. At that moment, I'm like, my office is a little, you know, drab. I haven't decorated. It's not fly yet. Like, I mean, it's kind of like papers. And it doesn't, there's no cool stories. I can't, me and Young Thug was kicking it. Like, there's no cool, I don't have no stories up here, but they're all down in these, you know, live rooms. And she said, no, just trust me. And I was like, all right, girl. So we went up to my office and I'm like, all right, I can just be like, here's where the magic happens. This is where I book everything and do everything. And when I tell you, walking in there and then seeing these little girls' eyes just like, oh, I'm like, whoa, like this is crazy. It was like again, that light bulb moment of like, oh, wow, one person can make a huge difference in so many people's lives just by sharing their story and just by like being themselves. And I remember the girls, oh my gosh, wow, this is your office. Can I sit in your chair? Can I take a picture? Like they were just like blown away. And I would, that even for myself, I think it's Women's History Month, you know what I mean? So again, I think one thing that more women need to do, especially, you know, people of color, you know, men and women, honestly, of color, we need to celebrate more without feeling like we're bragging. It's you need to celebrate your wins, celebrate those little wins and flex all the time. I'm sorry, like flex and let people know, like I work my ass off to get, can I cuss? I cuss, look beep, okay? I work my little booty off, okay, to get here, but to not, you know, a lot of women, I feel, and I'm speaking from my own experiences, we dim our lights because we intimidate men. You know, I've been that one woman who, the more and more I show, I just locked in $160,000 deal with, you know, this company for the studio and this and that, and I do this in my sleep. You know, the more and more people hear those types of things, they try to muffle you and quiet you down, and it's really hard sometimes to continue to keep going. But seeing these little girls' faces, I was like, oh yeah, man, we got to make this bigger. And about 30 days later, it still didn't like stick. It was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, wow, they think I'm cool. That's cool. Like, all right, I'm just trying to make, I'm trying to make a couple dollars so I can pay my rent. You know what I mean? It's real high out here in LA. And Tiffany, they did, you know, a little interview with me and the rest of the girls after, just like, how was the tour? How did you like it? And they sent me the video after. And there was this one part of the video that kind of like just really blew me, where she, like one of the little girls was just like, wow, I've never been in a studio before. I never knew that this is somewhere I could be. And I could see myself being here for the rest of my life. Like when we went into the boss's office, when we went into that office, like I want to do that. And I was just like, she's talking about me, y'all. She is talking about me. What? Like, wow, like this is so cool. You know, you think that they're looking up to these women and things like that, but no, like they want and they need to see, you know, what we are doing as a people and how we're winning and growing, so they can try and get there. Like I said, I want them to blow. I said, I want y'all to get better than me. I want you guys to do that when you're 15, when you're 20, when you're 22. So then when you're my age, then you, what else did y'all do? Oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it is. So that was the moment when I saw that video. I had a conversation with Tiffany and I said, listen, I need you to move to Los Angeles, sis. Like we do music here. I know a lot of people, we can make this really, really big. And I think what you're doing and what you're already built needs to be amplified. And I want to be a part of helping make this global. Like this needs to be, I said, the first time I saw that video, I said, wow, I wonder how little girls feel in Nigeria trying to make music. I wonder how little girls feel in the Philippines not being able to, you know what I mean? They're just still fighting to just go to school every day,
Right.
or
Right.
find a decent meal. So it's just like, for me, it just went there, like, oh man, we got to do this. And again, I grew up on a reservation of 1,200 people. So
Mhm.
a lot of people that I grew up with, even here in the United States, they stay there. They don't see
Mhm.
and they don't know that there's no rules to this. There's no like, oh, you can't come in this neighborhood. Bye. Hello.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm doing what I want to do. And if I don't know something, I'm gonna figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I'm gonna find somebody who can help me. Like,
Right.
and that's the motivation. And that's what I think our youth really need to hear and see, and just be like, yeah, they're teaching me how to do Pro Tools now. The girls are teaching me how to DJ on Serato now. I'm like, okay, look, I'm about to start DJing and making beats and all of those things. But yeah, luckily, Tiffany actually moved a year later to Los Angeles, uprooted her entire life and literally moved here, and since then we have been killing it. We've been killing it. The girls have DJ'd for the LA Clippers, Netflix, Google. They they did a remix for Janet Jackson. They have talked with Chloe and Halle. They've been getting advice from Eve. Like, Eve, my mom is from Philly, so like Eve is like my big sister in my head since I was like this little. So
Mhm.
just the things that they have their own businesses now. They're literally 10, 12, and their confidence, the way that they feel about themselves, even if they don't want to do music for the rest of their lives, what we do with Girls Make Beats is we build a community for them, so they know that they don't have to feel some type of way when they walk into a room. They don't, and they have the knowledge. Like I said, the smarter you are, the more no one can tell you anything. And I'm trying, I literally preach that. My brothers are like, oh yeah, I'm the little sister, so I got all the, you ain't gonna tell me what to do. And I give all of that to them, because again, the more you're educated, the more you stand firm in what it is that your integrity is never shaken. And it's just easier to navigate life, when
Right.
you know yourself, and cool, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I'm not willing to do to get this. And yeah, I love Girls Make Beats. I actually, to the point where I'm so happy, like, we're about to announce soon. I mean, by the time you cut this up and edit it, the girls just actually got their first placement in a feature film, which is Coming to America 2.
What?
So
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, we're building real world, opportunity for these girls. Like I said, we got a lot of really cool things. Spotify just came on and is helping us amplify what we're doing. We now have the Girls Make Beats podcast produced by
Mhm.
myself. So now I actually am so happy. I am no longer in the studio after 10 years. I now fully get to do what I love to do, which is
Wow.
help others
Yeah.
and pour into these kids. So yeah, we're really excited about just so many dope things, to the point where we're moving to a club model, and where we just also got our first school district. So Girls Make Beats programs will now be offered to the Compton School District here in Los Angeles, and we're looking to expand throughout the whole United States,
Yeah.
where kids can then start their own clubs. They can start their own Girls Make Beats club in their school,
Man.
kind
Yeah.
of like an FBLA, where after school, we're going to Girls Make Beats, and they go create, they make beats, they just produce podcasts, and just all of the things that they really want to do. It's I don't think us as adults, we're so busy trying to provide that we sometimes forget to listen what it is that they want to learn. And I think if we slow down a little bit and truly ingest and really just listen to what it is that they want to learn,
Mhm.
we would
Mhm.
we would see a lot more happy youth. We would see a lot more productive kids,
Definitely.
and active kids. So yeah, that's kind of like my everything in a nutshell. Is I'm just living through giving. That's really what I enjoy doing. And I'm going back into podcasting and producing my own content and shows. I have um my production company, Pretty Funny Productions, where we're going to start producing content and TV shows and things like that.
Yeah.
And again, that's something new. I'm going to learn something new. I think one more quote that I love, and I love to share with the girls is this is the second that you feel like you know it all is the second you don't know anything, and you put
Mhm.
a cap on where you can really, really go.
Right.
I learned from the girls. I learned from 10-year-olds. I learned from 80-year-olds. Like,
Mhm.
and I never let a title or something that you've already done make you feel like you know it all and you're too okay, because guess
Mhm.
what, you don't know what's going to happen to that person that you try to big time. You do not know who they're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, but I guarantee you the world is a lot smaller than you think, and you
Mhm.
will most likely meet them again, and you probably will need them. So I always tell everybody, be cool with everybody that you meet,
Mhm.
even the people who are super duper rude to you and mean. Like when I tell you I have a million stories in
Mhm.
this industry about somebody who tried to look at me. Okay, cool. Hey, nice. You know what? I'm gonna keep smiling and I'm gonna keep going. And then you would be surprised how many times they're now emailing me because they need, something or information or
Mhm.
this and the third. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of like my little life. I know I talk a lot, bro. I don't know if you have specific questions or nothing, but we can get
Wow,
into them now. But that's kind of my journey thus far, and
yeah.
I'm excited to continue to learn again because my motivation is to be an example by everything I do. So I want them to see, wow, Miss Witt quit her job or is no longer at this, this career
Mhm.
after 10 years because she wants to pour into us. Wow, I got to turn around and do the same thing for my sister or my little cousin or this, that, and the third. So,
Right.
and just honestly, like my little shenanigans on the Instagrams and the social medias and things like that, all of that is to just be another example for anybody who wants to figure out how to feel better.
Yeah.
Like it's wild how much you get back from giving stuff away, giving
Mhm.
time, giving your energy, giving your knowledge
Yeah.
away. You feel amazing. And like that, and I guess, and this, I'm speaking from experience. I think I'm speaking from experience, y'all. So, um, yeah, that's me. That's Miss Taber. That's me.
That's such a powerful story. There's so many moments in this conversation that I'm just so excited to turn into sound bites. When you talk about, and I have like maybe like 2 minutes left before I got to hop off and start my teaching day or continue my teaching day. But I'll say this: when you talk about not knowing what it is that you want to do at an early age, but being expected to be able to have to make that decision, that's one thing. And then you even said, you gave the example when you turn 25 in your 20s and stuff, when you're even an adult, there's still opportunities to still pivot once you've gotten those experiences. And I'm like an example of that, going
Right.
from the person with the multiple degrees that you were alluding to earlier, that's me doing that type of thing, studying, having an engineering background, but completely changing my career to become an educator and now just fully immersed in the music space. And there's a lot more that I want to, I want to stay
Right.
connected with you. I want to like learn more about Girls Make Beats. I want to try to allow like myself to whatever way that I can, be a part of and help out and just kind of get that information out there. Cause I think a lot of people that I talk to who produce and who are into music and stuff, I've had conversations about the lack of visibility, on with the opposite gender. And
Yeah.
I love the wins, the victories that you just talked about. There's so many things. I'm just
Right.
like, I'm
We can
excited.
do a round two. I'm like I said, I love to talk. I'm here. I also, like I said, I have a whole slate of IP that I'm sure I'll turn around and interview you because I want to know more about all of the things that you got going on as well.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like I said, anybody that wants to get involved with Girls Make Beats or even just follow us on, on our socials. It's just at Girls Make Beats.
Mhm.
And then also you can tune in. Like I said, our podcast is girlsmakebeats.org/podcast. You can go listen to the Girls Beats on our website. Like there's so
Yeah.
much cool stuff on our website, y'all. If you
Yeah.
know a kid, if you know a little girl, from the ages 7 to 17 that are interested in, music production, engineering, or DJing, like again, even if they just want a squad, you know what I mean, they just love music and they just want a cool girl squad to be around and be uplifted by, like the same thing, they like we love it. And again, it's I now am dedicated. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I'm doing it. So, you know, don't think just because you started on one path that you have to stay on that path. I'm a testament a million trillion times. I tell people, I say that around every 2 years, I switch it up. I'm like, okay, what are we doing now? Like I was a TV host. Let's switch it up. Vice president of a whole company. Let's switch it up. You know, now I'm learning how to be an educator through our partnership with Spotify. I'm teaching through Soundtrap. I don't know if you guys have Soundtrap, but it's very user friendly, y'all. Because when I tell you, it's you know, auntie, I'm 34. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, trying to learn something new. But I mean, even the moms and all of that, like, pay attention to what your kids really want to learn, because you would be so surprised how cool the stuff is that they are doing and they want to do. And they can make a career out of it. I mean, again, I really try to tell kids and people, anybody that I hope to motivate, don't follow the money, because the money is going to come and it's going to go. Please follow your happiness, because happiness is the thing that makes life feel way, way better. And again, money, I know a lot of people with a lot of money who aren't really very happy. So again, follow that happiness, and don't worry if you got that big old 6-figure job that, you know, hey, it's all good. But if you don't feel good, you know, it's all about giving back. So
that's the most
that's all I got. I mean, and thank you for what you do. Like I said, I don't think people give educators enough props, because what you are doing is completely selfless. Like I said, you are pouring into people's children. And like I said, I still talk to my middle school teacher. Like, I'm from a very small community, so I still talk to my home ec teacher, my middle school teacher. Like, I talk to all of them, and they're seeing what I'm doing now, and they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, you have no idea. You know, putting me into, like you guys pouring into me, or me watching you. There's one specific teacher that I'm like, me literally being like, oh, I want to be like her one day is the reason that I go so hard, you know. And I got to see her, before the pandemic, I got to see her, you know, 2 years ago. And I got to tell her that, tell people how much they mean to you, yo. When I tell you that gratitude will get you so much further than any attitude. Ooh, that's a good, I just came up with that, y'all. I feel good about that one. Gratitude will get you more than any little attitude. So give love as much as you can, because the world needs more of it. But that's me. Follow me on social media. My name is Miss Taber, MS_TABER. MissTaber.com. I have, if there's any like new and up and coming artists, I have a few radio shows where I'll be interviewing artists. I just want to plug, it's called The Plug Radio. I'm plugging my network with new music, new artists, new creatives. And you know, I have another one, Creative Conversations, where it's just any creative. I don't care what you create. If it's earrings, if it's shirts, if it's, you know, paintings of Cardi B, like whatever it is that you create, I want to talk to you. I want to see what inspired you, and I want to help uplift us. But I got some stuff for the ladies too, y'all. Like I said, I don't sleep. Work hard. Them dreams is big, y'all. So you gotta want it more than everybody else, and you gotta find the time, because time is worth more than any money that you're ever gonna make. So that's me.
I'm super appreciative of the time, and I will absolutely take you up on the offer of a follow-up, so we can kind of talk a little bit more, because there's a lot to unpack, and there's so much great information about your journey. So I'm just super appreciative of that, and also to be involved with, you know, being a guest on all those things that you just mentioned. I'm like 1,000% for that. So you will be hearing from me on that front too. But I'm gonna give you back the rest of your day. But thank you so much for the time. And have a wonderful rest of the day, and thanks for everything that you're doing with all the volunteer work and stuff that you mentioned. And I'll be seeing you on IG every morning. I'm like, okay.
Right, like I said, and IG is probably the best way to hit me, because sometimes I'm looking at my email like, wait, what? When was it? Oh, you know, go ahead and slide in your girl's DM. Don't be on no weirdo stuff though. You know what I'm saying? Don't be. No, I'm playing. But awesome. Well, this was great. Thank you so much, and have a happy day. Great week.
Well. Have a good one. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Let me try to embarrass myself and see if I can name as many people as I can on your background. One of them I definitely know.
Okay. I think.
Which is Cardi B, the second one. Dang. Should I have even gone here? Let's see. Are some of the other ones obvious?
Yes, very much so.
They should be, right?
They all should be. I think there's one that's probably not as obvious to a lot of people, but Erica, Cardi, Selena, Aaliyah, Sade, Beyonce.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's they used to be my office. Now this is the office, so they at the crib now.
Awesome. How you doing today?
Good. Just got getting my day started, really. So yeah, just left the gym and getting my little breakfast. Like I said, you're in New York?
New Jersey, yeah. 3 hours ahead. Yeah. You're in Cali, right?
LA, yeah. So I'm in LA, so it's 9:45, you know, so it's early for me. Or I guess not so much early because I get up early, but
sure.
yeah. Dope. Well, let's get this thing rolling.